Radio Freaks Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Freaks Skaro, episode number 897. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Morning, Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
Getting close to 900 there. 900 podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, numbered podcasts, we should say. It's we don't count numbers.
What happens when we hit 900? Does the world blow up?
We release a diary.
Yeah, is that what it is? No.
Do we remake everything from episode 1 onward? Like, do we reboot?
This ain't DC. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. No, we don't do that.
Radio Free Skaro, the new 52?
Oh, God, no. Nobody needs that.
Is that a comics thing? I don't.
Yes, it is. DC likes to do reboots and then give up on them, and that's one of many.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they've tried to do that with movies and stuff. I don't know. I don't pay attention to this crap anymore.
Yeah, essentially, it's legacy of failure. The DC story.
Yeah.
One of us hosts can move aside for Ezra Miller to join instead.
No,
thank you.
Can't do that.
They are not welcome here.
We don't need them here on this. I don't even know anything about what movie they're in. The Flash, right? I don't know what that's about. Yeah, but I have no idea. All I know is it's person's bad. I don't care. Listen, I don't watch.
Several Flashes are in it, and Michael Keaton Batman. That's basically all I know.
Yeah, I don't. God. Comic book movies.
Starting strong.
I know, just like
you tailed off before you even said anything.
Well, I mean, it's, like the Marvel movies have been like, ruling the roost for, I don't know, the better part of a generation now. And now DC is just like, oh, well, here we are. We're going to get James Gunn in and we're going to start making movies too. It says, oh, good. Which means there's two competing massive giant movie empires to take up all the oxygen. It's like,
much as I think James Gunn will be an improvement on things, will it be two giant conglomerates? I don't think so.
Well, it might be more competently run, perhaps.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
It will be more competently run. I'm sure of that. But I don't think it's going to be able to, who knows? Maybe it'll get better and Marvel get worse. Who cares, honestly? Whatever.
Then we'll just have to wait for the Dark Horse cinematic universe.
Oh, dear God.
The
Image cinematic universe. Spawn will come back and annoy us all again.
Comic books.
Or just, the Todd McFarlane cinematic universe.
No, we don't need to encourage Todd McFarlane in any way. That's a hockey tie-in for you, Stephen. A deliberate sop.
I think
in a way,
a very tiny way. Welcome to week 2 of our follow-up on our own Chris Chibnall interview. The only reason we say that is because our Doctor Who news alerts are still first 4 or 5 articles each one are just like, oh, that's something that was said in their interview. That was something that he said in their interview. So I think the Radio Times gleaned 4, maybe 5 articles out of things he said in that interview, which...
Good work, in quotes.
Yeah. I know. I had guessed 8.
I think Screen Rant got about 3 or 4 as well.
Oh, yeah. Screen Rant had some.
What a surprise.
I did like a giant freaking robot had the most apoplectic headline, I think, is that Jodie Whittaker nearly ruined Doctor Who for the entire franchise. And based on the fact that she had other work lined up. And so
how dare she?
They might have canceled it and she could have gone on to do other work. Therefore, she ruined the franchise. They took
done. They took the concept of spin and spun it.
Giant freaking robot. I mean, there are a lot of click mills, but they are one of the worst. Yeah. Anyway.
Not good. Anyway,
end of my editorial.
Yeah, the one that amused me, and the one that is this is based the title of this episode around, is that I think there was one non-English translation that's for some reason changed Radio Freaks Skaro to Radio Freaks Skaro, which, to be fair, is probably a more appropriate and accurate title for this podcast. Yes. And so everywhere that translation or whatever got picked up by everywhere all across the world. We were getting like pingbacks on our website from this country and that country. It's there it was.
Rude.
Radio Freaks Skaro. That's us. Thanks for that.
Oh well.
Yeah, I did see one. What is it when is it AI or is it just a translation program? They just take it like willy nilly. And I saw Jodie Whittaker being referred to as the physician in there because, of course, the doctor. You see, and so
that sounds like AI.
Yeah,
or it just could be somebody mistranslating.
Could be too. Yeah, it was a funny old time, but I think it's finally dying down now. Finally, a little bit, which is fine. If you want to listen to it or read it, go back on our show notes. 895 is the episode where it's in. It's a good interview. We're collecting showrunner interviews basically because we would if obviously
one down.
Yeah, one down. We're either 33% of the way there or 25% of the way there, depending on what you view the Russell T Davies eras as separate or continuous. Russell T Davies was on the Table Manners podcast. I saw him tweet about this. It's like a podcast to like about eating and cooking and stuff like that. I thought how interesting. And of course, any podcast he appears on, inevitably Doctor Who comes up. And he said on this podcast that he'll be working on this show for years. I think actually, I will have to spend years on that.
This is where his skills as a showman come in great, because if I got harassed to the point where he does about Doctor Who on things that have nothing to do with Doctor Who, I would have lost it long ago. He has not and probably will not, and I got to give him credit for that.
No, he just loves it. He loves. I mean, it's been funny to think that he's had these ideas for more stories just stewing in the back of his head for basically 15 years. Yeah,
he's been gone for long enough that I'm sure he's come up with any number of things to cover off.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out.
Just like Moffat, he kind of ran out of ideas by his own admission after Series 9, and then had to come back to do 10 because Chibnall wasn't ready. And I know that some people really like 10, but I don't as much as 8 or 9. And it shows. But I guess even he's had enough of a break to want to, throw some more ideas in the ring. Or given he's rumored to be coming back for Gatwa's first year.
Yeah, the Mirror has put an article misspelling his name, so that's good stuff from the start. Stephen Moffat
and crediting William Hurt as the War Doctor.
Yeah, it's
William Hurt.
Yeah, they took a second pass through the article and removed in the article all the incorrectly spelled from STEPHEN, the incorrect spelling of Stephen, to the correct one. That's just in general in life. I'm much more of a Steven Spielberg person than a Stephen Harper person, for instance. And
ouch.
Based solely on the spelling of the names.
Well, I mean, they've earned the reputation. But
Stephen Harper is a big hockey fan.
Yeah, that's the tiny little island in the ocean of difference that we will find common ground on. But there's still the article's still rife with errors where the captions still stay Stephen Moffat with the PH, and there's still William Hurt there playing the late War Doctor. So
I was going to say ChatGPT wrote this, but it got the fundamental thing right, probably. So I guess not.
Yeah, I mean it's so the Mirror thing is done by the Showbiz editor Mark Jeffries. I'm not sure what Mark Jeffries' hit rate is when it comes to Mirror articles. I know Nicola Bethvin, is that her name? Sorry if I got your name wrong, Nicola. Is the one who has often just hit like dead on with the scoops when it comes to stuff for the Mirror. So you know what? It as annoyed as you are with all the air, they disguise their correct scoops with errors. I don't think it's deliberate. Which is
gonna say very fiendish of you, Mirror.
Yeah, which makes it all the more frustrating when they actually do come up with something that's actually proper
most of the time
proper news, but they don't know how to frame it. So. Yeah, lesson 1, spell the name of the person who is being scooped here right in your headline. Free advice from this here podcast. So yeah, that'd be interesting if that is indeed the case, because I've always liked Stephen Moffat's writing. And as you heard in our Chris Chibnall interview, he has no interest in writing other episodes of Doctor Who, but I bet you Stephen Moffat said the same thing when he left in 2017.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure.
And he probably didn't have any interest at the time.
Well, But then old Russell the Davies came back and says, you know what? Maybe I got one more idea in me.
We're about 5 minutes away from all the nerds, including us probably, saying, well, this and that and the other monster. Oh, I guess the angels are coming back because, could come up with something new. Just a thought.
Yeah, because he only wrote like 84 episodes over the course of 7 years, most of which didn't include the Weeping Angels. So I think it's...
Not everything has to have a returning monster in it.
No. Nope. So exciting if true. We'll find out. I suppose, in the weeks and months to come, as Doctor Who once again it inhabits our lives and our news list every week, which is quite astounding. This next week is Red Nose Day. And David Tennant is hosting it again on Friday, March 17th, for Comic Relief on the BBC, unless by that point everybody has walked off from presenting BBC programs in support of Gary Lineker. I don't know where that'll be. We're recording this on Saturday morning here in Canada, before Match of the Day is going out. I have no idea where that's going to be in a day's time, but yeah, they had some pics of David Tennant there, some promo pics, and he's wearing his new Doctor Who outfit in some of those, which is gives some people a good look at his new outfit and stuff. I mean, as if the action dolly isn't enough to go by if you're trying to look what his outfit's looking like. But I don't know if there's going to be a skit, or if you will, a sketch for Doctor Who for Comic Relief, or if this is just him just showing off in the costume. But some of the promo pics would lead me to believe that there's going to be some sort of Doctor Who element involved in Red Nose Day. Quite possibly.
Trailer, perhaps? I say with hope rather than fact.
I think it'd be a skit more than it would be a trailer.
Yeah, probably.
I think. Given that you got, the Doctor, for now, hosting the damn thing, I don't know.
I hope they have a mini-sode where he's in the 10th Doctor's TARDIS just to really confuse people.
That would be... where does that even exist now? Because
I don't know if it does.
Yeah, in the olden days, you could go down to the Doctor Who experience and just shoot something there.
The volume, that's where it exists. The volume.
They don't have the volume in Bad Wolf Studios, do they? I don't think they do.
I have no idea.
No.
Wouldn't surprise me if they've used it, though, at some point, or will be using it.
I don't know. Feels like a U.S. thing. How many volumes are there around the world? Are there?
I have no idea.
I get the feeling there's
no
not
reason
that many.
Why they shouldn't have it.
Cost is one, isn't it?
Well, there's 2 volumes here in Vancouver, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there's one in London at the very least.
Warren, I did not know that.
Yeah, there is. ILM has one, and there's another one. I don't remember where it is, but there are 2 of them here
in Vancouver. Wow.
Yep.
What did they shoot there? Do you know, Warren? I'm curious.
Because everything. But whatever ILM's working on that isn't the Mandalorian, I assume.
Because here I thought that
3 in LA.
All right. Are you? Is this from memory? Or are you looking this up now?
From ILM's website.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, 3 in LA.
They definitely have one here because they were building one in North Vancouver, and there's apparently another one. A friend of mine who works in film told me that non-ILM affiliated.
Right.
And the cost of these things is just going to go down. So I mean,
that's true. Yeah.
So it's 3 in the greater LA area and 1 in Vancouver.
There you go.
Well, how about that? I'm learning things.
For those filming elsewhere in the United States or in Europe, United State, way to go, ILM. We can build a mobile or pop-up bespoke volume designed to meet your project specific needs when and where you need it.
Let's face it, ILM never leaves California. That's why it's accurate to call it the United States.
We criticize them for spelling, but these are the guys who can make Iron Man's left shoulder pad look incredibly realistic. Spelling is not high on their list of priorities compared to that.
That's true. Clearly they didn't do de-aging effects on Star Trek Picard. Anyway, bit of a side swipe there for a show that I'm actually enjoying. Just a little aside. I know people haven't all watched it yet, but Warren and I were expecting to really, really hate watch this series of Picard. But when Alex Kurtzman isn't writing Star Trek Picard, it actually turns out to be not too bad. But it's early days. Yeah.
What a shocker.
Yeah.
I thought they had a volume in Toronto as well that Discovery used. But
I thought
they did too. Yeah.
Maybe not.
But it may not be an ILM volume. It could be a different volume.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is going to spread around. I'm not saying that Doctor Who is using it. I won't be surprised if they do at some point use it on the show.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be one at Pinewood Studios in London opening February 2021.
Wait a minute, that's 2 years ago.
Actually did.
Yeah.
It is 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Here, for some reason, I just thought they were so rare and unique that, because I don't know which, obviously The Mandalorian and the Boba Fett show, aka The Mandalorian, was shot on the volume, but Andor.
And some Andor, a bit of Andor.
Some Andor, yeah, probably at Pinewood.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Obi-Wan was shot.
Our flag means death.
That's true, yeah. Our flag means, which is not that expensive a show.
Ahsoka.
So
yeah. Well,
Rogue One Solo.
Let me tell you
Rise
this.
of Skywalker.
Let me tell you this. It shows on Our Flag Means Death when they shoot the scenes on the deck of the boat. I just
here's the thing. It's a funny show about gay pirates, and nobody cares if
I know.
the special effects are bad.
I know.
You couldn't have told me, and I'm good at spotting this kind of stuff.
You know, I'll tell you.
I don't care because it's not the point.
I tell you what. I look at that. I look at the scenes on Our Flag Means Death, and there were some scenes on boats in the much more expensive the Rings of Power. And I'm going, those don't look as good. Those don't look as good. I don't think you spent your $250 million the right way if those are the way your boat scenes are looking.
Here's the thing. Filming on actual boats is about as expensive.
Very expensive.
And less safe. So,
that's true.
So why not put it on it? I don't have a problem with it. Whatever.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen.
It's all pretend. Who cares?
You got to shoot it for real. That's why I love what's the movie called? A Master Commander: The Far Side of the World, because the boat seems like amazing, and they shot in this big tank in Mexico outside.
Yes.
And it shows. It looks so great. It's so great.
The meticulousness of Master Commander and a weekly show about pirates called Our Flag Means Death. They should definitely match. Yeah,
well, now I'm comparing it to Rings of Power. I mean, it's $250 million.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's a
whatever.
Whatever.
It's not my money. I don't care.
That's true. I wonder if Doctor Who will actually use the volume, or if Bad Wolf has a volume. I mean, it's just a bunch of screens. You just go down to Best Buy and pick up a bunch of LED
more than
TVs.
Do it than that, but
Isn't that it? That's as far as I know. That's what it is. So
yeah. Well, this is why you're an expert commenting on it. Well, they can't possibly be using a bunch of screens from Best Buy. Right. I know everything.
Yeah. Anyway, Red Nose Day coming up on Friday. We'll talk all about it on next week's episode. Without Chris, you're going to be in the UK again. We should probably say that.
Yeah. I'll be in the UK.
Again, can't get enough of the place, apparently.
Well, no.
That's a good point, actually.
She's got a point there.
Yeah, I'm going to see rock and roll concerts from Rock and Roll Combos.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
I mean, not entirely rock and roll, but yeah.
I know what you mean. I know, not rock and roll.
We bought tickets to go see the Bake Off musical.
Oh, what? There's a Bake Off musical?
That's a sentence I never want to hear again.
I didn't know that. Wow.
I will report upon it fully when I return.
Yeah. Oh, I had to go to see Steve Moffat's play, too. What's it called? The Uninvited? What's
The
it called?
Unfriend, yeah.
The Unfriended, yeah.
Which is what his Doctor Who script's going to be. It's just going to be his play with Doctor Who characters.
That's true. Yeah. Exciting time. So yeah, we'll talk about Red Nose Day in your absence next week then, and all the Doctor Who goodies therein.
Yes.
There probably won't be very much.
Is Erica joining for that one, or?
Yeah, probably, because she's in the same house, and sometimes we just go for propinquity,
convenience,
logistics.
Yeah. And I like her. Believe it or not, that's why I married her.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I already asked her. She's not finding out about this because we record like 9 a.m. and that's what we're going to have to do it because Warren's going to be out of town all week and then only gets in time for Sunday morning. So yeah, it's going to be an early one for her. So yep, which means I will owe her breakfast. Moving on.
That's what Skip the Dishes is for.
Bring
on the Denny's.
What a romantic gesture. For Skip the Dishes.
Hey, their anniversary was last month. Yeah. Romance is dead for 11 more months.
Wow. I'm not going anywhere near this radioactive pit of discussion.
Thanks, Chris. Moving on. Big finish. The Ninth Doctor Adventures, the third series of Ninth Doctor Adventures, starring Christopher Ecclestone. Jeez, I just misspelled his name.
The Mirror? What's wrong with you?
I know, and then pronounced it wrong. Christopher Ecclestone returns with the third audio series, Pioneers, which comes out in May of 2023. 3 different stories: The Green Gift by Roy Gill, Northern Lights by Robert Valentine, and The Beautiful Game by Catherine Armitage.
I was kind of hoping it was one of them was going to be based on that Oregon Trail game from the 80s.
Oh, I never played that. You've Died of Dysentery. That's the only one I know of. The screen grab. That's it. But Anyway, cool stuff. I love that Chris Eccleston is back in the world of Doctor Who, and he's in audio form. I think given that Russell T Davies is the one running the TV franchise, I'm kind of confident in saying that Eccleston might not be appearing on screen during the course of this. But so audio is your best bet to get him. But he sounds great when he's on there, so good for him. That's awesome. Christopher Eccleston back as Doctor Who. Big finish, May 2023. Also back. For a second series is Doctor Who Redacted, the BBC Sounds sort of they called it a podcast initially, but it was like an audio play. It was really great. We talked to Ella Watts about it. She's the producer of it. She spearheaded this whole thing for series 1, got it together. Very much a queer story, which is great because there's not much Doctor Who that's directly focused on the queer community, which is amazing. She's not producing series 2. She wasn't given the opportunity to produce series 2. She indicated her interest in doing it, but it went to James Goss instead. James Goss has sort of produced a lot of different Doctor Who stuff otherwise. So Ella posted about this on Twitter, about how, she's upset about it, and rightly so. This was kind of her baby, and it was taken away from her. So I feel bad about that. I mean, I hope James Goss does a thing, good work on it, but, the optics of it are not good. Let's put it that way.
The redacted community was unimpressed, to put it mildly.
Yeah, it was. I mean, she was her story. I mean, she was on the podcast talking about it, and her passion for the project was embedded in that, and now it just feels like it's been taken away from a woman and given just another man, and it's just that's the optics of it. I don't know how James Goss will produce this. I know he's produced other stuff for the BBC in regards to Doctor Who. He was sort of behind the Tom Lord Victorious thing and all that, but I would have liked to have had season 2 with Ella Watts again at the helm. So that's too bad. And
I say community, and I mean it, because you could tell that people got it, much like Torchwood. A lot of people got into Doctor Who from Redacted. Yeah. So and stuck with Redacted and were very loyal to it. So it's kind of a kick in the pants, really.
It is. So our hearts go out to you there, Ella, because I think you were done wrong when it comes to this. But here's hoping that Doctor Who Redacted will still be good, though, and that your legacy at least will live on through the creation of Series 2. So that is coming.
Bigger and better opportunity sometimes.
That too. She's a very talented producer. So that's coming in the future. Speaking of the future, the Doctor Who Annual 2024 is coming from Penguin Books in September of 2023, featuring an exclusive 14th Doctor story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's happening. Because, of course, it's the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who this year. I don't know if you heard that or not. But
what? Yeah, it's a rumor.
Yeah, it is. So there's also a sneak peek at the long-awaited 15th Doctor in this thing. There's no cover yet, but it's coming out September 7th, 2023. So I don't know why this is, but I feel like a lot more attention is being paid to the 60th anniversary than I thought. It's just another 10 years. We didn't, but
because it's not the 50th, which is the gold standard big deal.
It is the gold standard. It's tough to top the 50th, but they're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing a lot of stuff for the 60th, and it's kind of cool in a way. So
well, I mean, even when the show was off the air, they still tried to do stuff for the 30th and 40th. So
that's true. The 40th amounted to putting
40th
out
was a bunch of broadcasts of classic Who and whatever. But
yeah, and they put out a story per Doctor on DVD at the time, and then it culminated obviously in by the way, we're going to bring the show back in September of that year. But and
then we're also getting 2 new Doctors, unlike 1 new Doctor for the 50th.
2, that's true, and it was even a fake Doctor too at that. With the
calling the War Doctor a fake. How dare you?
William Hurt was great in it. You know that.
William Hurt's best role.
Yeah, it was.
Accidental Tourist and as the War Doctor. Yep, amazing.
Yep.
Accidental Tourist is very boring, by the way.
I never watched it. He got an Oscar for Kiss the Spider Woman, and Harrison Ford is playing the role that he had in whatever Captain America movie he was in.
Oh, yeah. Thunderbolt or whatever the hell it is.
Whatever. Thunderball? No, that was James Bond.
It's Thunder something or other. He's a Hulk guy.
Sure.
Thunder Lizard.
Even you are losing track of this.
I don't know in Marvel anywhere. I just know it the best of the 3 of us. That doesn't mean I know it all that well.
No, okay. That's fine. I don't know how we got into the career filmography of the late William Hurt, but here we are.
The Mirror, that's how.
That's exactly how. So there, the docu-annual due September 7th. Hey, this is exciting news because both Chris and I got our email notifications when to expect our William Hartnell Season 2 box sets. Coming in March 28th is when it's arriving here, just as I see that other people are getting the John Pertwee Season 9 sets coming out in the UK. But so, we're a step behind.
It was William Hurt box set. So
it's all over the place
now.
It's all over the place, isn't it? Yeah, so
that is release day, right?
28th, yes, I believe it is the release day. Yeah. So that's cool. I got the UK version and watched the Crusade and watched the Looking for David documentary, but I purposely didn't watch anything else because I wanted to save it for the North American version. But now that I think about it, I will watch the UK version of The Chase, Episode 1, because the Beatles are going to be there, and they're not going to be in the North American version, so... Yeah, with
completionism.
Yeah, which still makes me chuckle, just because the Beatles are British, but you clear the rights in England, but not in outside of England, which is odd to me. But
Right Stuff is insane.
It is.
Rings of Power is the way it is because of Right Stuff. Like, there's a whole, I'm not going to go into it, but Foundation has a character who's named one thing who is another thing, but they don't have the rights for that other thing, so you can't use that name, so it's just all dumb.
This is why Grace and Chang Lee are still not mentioned in anything when it comes to Doctor Who, because there's like some weird ownership of Amblin Entertainment, It's very weird.
So we want a Grace spin-off made by Steven Spielberg, which is pretty unlikely, but you could.
You never know. Never know. Could do anything. I mean, he made Ready Player One. I mean, he can do anything now. Steven Moffat, Steven Spielberg.
Yes, that was what proved his mettle as a filmmaker. Ready Player One.
I mean, I was just like, he'll make any old crap, is what I mean to say, because he made Ready Player One.
The man turned in Schindler's List as his film school dissertation. So
that's true. 30 years ago. And maybe he'll win an Oscar.
Fair.
Maybe he'll win an Oscar tonight, Sunday.
Fableman's is good.
Fableman's
is a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll win.
I haven't seen it, no. Let's move on. Doctor Who Lost in Time, the mobile game, has launched, which caught me by surprise because I had it installed on my phone forever and I never played it, and then it launched. And so I'm confused. So first off,
best guess is that it's like launching in a different market, because even like DoctorWho.tv ran a piece on it. And it's been out for I don't know how many months over here at least. So maybe it's just in the Britons that
I guess so.
It just came out.
Were we a test market? Is that why? Like because there is a Canadian connection to this. It's made by Eastside Games in Vancouver, for crying out loud.
Gastown. Mere blocks from me.
Mere blocks from you, Warren.
I think they're in Gastown. They were at one point anyway.
It's so maybe that's why it's been on my phone since forever, unplayed, might I add. I could have played this anytime in the last few months. Did not. What kind of game is this? We talked about this beforehand, and I didn't know. You even called it something. And I did not. I did not know what kind it was. What kind of game is this, Chris?
Idle
game. What does that mean? What does that mean for those that don't play
it
games?
Basically runs itself, and the stuff you get from it is just there to like make you earn more money or widgets or whatever.
Okay. So like you click on things and stuff, and then
kinda.
Okay.
Like I've seen like people I work with playing like drug-based games. Like they have this, their coke production and their weed production or whatever, and then you get money and you reinvest that to make coke faster or whatever.
Huh. You'll love this, Steven. There's a Lower Decks game from the same studio.
Is there really?
Same basic principle. Yep.
Oh, wow.
It's apparently quite popular.
Huh. I don't play games on my phone very often.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I'm not a phone. Even though I have a whole folder. There's like 120 games on my phone, and I play Solitaire. That's the one I play. It's dumb. It's dumb. Maybe no. Who am I kidding? I probably won't. I need to open. I opened it up and there was music and stuff, and it said Vorp, and it says hit next to go play. And it's like, I don't want to get involved because it's gonna. I just wanted to click out of curiosity to see what happened, and it launches you right into it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to look at this yet. So I haven't looked at it. So there you go. There's my report on Doctor Who Lost in Time. I'm sure it's great. I haven't clicked it yet.
It's 1055 Dunsmuir, Warren, whatever it's worth. So it's
okay, that is not Gastown. For those for Vancouver geography enthusiasts, that is more like Cole Harbour. Thrilling, I know.
Cole Harbour.
But not far from like Vancouver or Convention
No, I could walk there in
Canada
about 20
Place,
minutes,
whatever.
knock on the door and say, why was this game soft launch? Answer me now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll say, it's Saturday, go away.
Yeah. Do it. I'm playing the Last of Us right now on PlayStation. I bought a refurbished PlayStation and a used copy of The Last of Us the game because I'm quite enjoying the television series. They made a TV show about it. It's on HBO. The last episode of which is airing Sunday night tonight as this episode drops. And I was so intrigued by it. This is, you know what, I've been wanting to play the game forever, but I'm an Xbox person, so I thought, to hell with it, let's just do it. And so I did. And it's very good. It's a very good game. And it's very interesting how, I don't want to spoil either, but how there are certain scenes in the TV show that are like straight from the game, like visually and everything, which is amazing given that they shot the thing in Alberta. They shot the whole show in Alberta. And some of the scenes in there, like, wow, this looks like exactly like the TV show did when I was playing the game. So anyway, it's a very good game. I see now, 10 years after the fact, why so many people were agog about it. So it's good.
What other game did you buy?
I bought Horizon Zero Dawn. I understand that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but I'm going to be returning that one. I don't know what.
How dare you?
I'm kidding, of course. It's Warren's favorite game of all time.
It is fantastic.
Yep. I have that one, and I might play that one when I'm done. The Last of Us, which I'm really ripping through because I want to see. I don't want to be. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be spoiled by the TV show and not the game, or vice versa. I'm in a very confusing place right now. So at one point, somewhat soon, I'm going to get past to where the TV show is, and then I'll be firmly in spoiler territory when it comes to playing the game. But this is what people must go through when they read books, right, Warren? Where they read books and then they make movies and or TV shows about those books.
You know what? Not really.
No?
Because there's more to a book, and by the time the movie comes out, you've kind of forgotten the book, probably. It's been a few years. Also, you are going to go past the TV show because games are designed to make you want to do that.
That's
so
true.
you will do that.
That's true. Yeah, I will. Probably next week, actually. I'll probably go buy it. But anyway, it's good. So this is why I don't play Doctor Who Lost in Time on my phone right now. I'm playing The Last of Us on the PlayStation. Sorry. But hey, either of you two want to launch into it in the next few days or something, by all means, go right ahead. Warren, when you're waiting for your plane to go to on your flight this coming week, you could trot it out to play this game. You won't, but that's fine.
No, I won't. I absolutely will not.
That's fine. There's speaking of 60th anniversary, Danbury Mint is getting in on the action too. There's a 60th anniversary bear. He's the first Doctor bear. He's got a little 60th anniversary logo on his little foot. He's wearing the first Doctor outfit. He's in black and white. He's a monochrome bear.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he left Gallifrey, because he's a bear.
Yeah,
and he's 325 pounds.
He's 325 pounds.
Price, not weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because here's the catch. There's only 1,963 bears that are being made.
Clever,
get it?
but
1963.
expensive.
Yeah. Yep. So if you're one of those just under 2,000 people who are really dying for a special bear to celebrate the 60th anniversary of TV's Doctor Who, then this is the bear for you.
What's the Venn diagram of insanely wealthy, very online, and massive Doctor Who fan that we should expect to trot this out in their Twitter somewhere or other social media stuff?
That's a good question.
Ian Levine when he had more money? I don't know.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know. I wonder who. Russell T Davies might get one. I don't know.
That's true. I mean, that'd be fair.
Yeah, just like a high profile, Doctor Who people that would get these, but I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be given his, but
He probably. Well, I know there's only 1960. Don't you dare make a 1,964th bear just for Russell T Davies, because that'll cheapen the whole enterprise.
That's how it works. You get people to buy it because Russell T Davies has it. It's like when they came out with the insanely expensive gold Apple Watches and gave a pile of them for free to celebrities. That's all they were ever for in the first place, is just to give them celebrities for free. And I picked that out of because I know about it. But there's a million other products like that.
Okay.
They're insanely expensive, and here you go, Beyonce, wear this because it's like a dress at the Academy Awards, for instance. They're not buying that, right?
No.
That's somebody's he's advertising.
It's funny. Like, Billie Eilish shows up on YouTube. It's like, look what I got. I got this big giant Doctor Who bear. Ooh, it's pretty cool. I bet you want one of these, don't you?
That's advertising. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, links to the show notes. It could ships in 4 to 6 months. So if you order now, you'll get it by the time the 60th anniversary comes along.
And then at the bottom, it also says, bear shown is an artist's impression. Actual bear may vary. So
at the risk of stealing
what you're looking at, you may not even get.
That's true.
At the risk of stealing Chris's thunder, right. Malibu Stacy does indeed have a new hat.
Yeah, does.
Kinda.
I thought, honestly, at first I thought it was just a Build-A-Bear. It would cost like $40 or something like that, but it's not. Danbury mint bears are apparently much more prestige. I don't know. Just a bear, but
much more costly.
I hope the salespeople are really snooty. Oh, no. This is a Danbury mint bear. I beg your pardon.
Yes, get your Build-A-Bear trash out of here.
Anyway, that's it for our news this week. So let's take a look back. How about the old Timelash, where we take a look back in the history of we're building up to the 60th anniversary. So we're looking back through history. We just do this time filler every single week, but it's fun because it's fun to look at what happened in the past. Leading up to the 60th. March 12th, 1964, with Carol Ann Ford having grown unhappy with Susan's development, the press reports that she will leave Doctor Who at the end of the first production block. The Mirror did. They spelled her name wrong probably, too. I bet it's probably.
My question is, what development?
Exactly.
She's right. Honestly, she's got a point. But
I was telepathic for 3 weeks when the censorites, and that's it. You idiots. Peter R. Newman did more for my character than any of you scribes.
Oh, you want development? We'll marry you off. There we go.
Yeah.
Peter R. Newman also gave her the Orange Skies line about Gallifrey.
Oh, my God. Right? Peter R. Newman is responsible for so much for Doctor Who. Unless, of course, David Whittaker wrote that line, and Peter R. Newman knows nothing, but who knows? Mm-hmm. So, interesting. Anything else jumping out at you? March 12th in history?
That's a wall of recordings.
That's a lot of recordings. Robert Banks Stewart in 1974 is commissioned to provide a storyline for Terror of the Zygons, which would, at the time, would have been the last story for season 12. Or just in the midst of broadcasting season 11. I'm trying to think. They cast Tom Baker in February of that year. 74, and already, obviously they're preparing for the next year, but they, they only had cast the new Doctor when they were already writing stories for him. So, but I think it was cool. Of course, it was a 6-part story back then, and it got truncated to a 4 at some point. Long history. There's a documentary probably on the season 13 box set coming, whenever that's coming. But so we'll move on. March the 13th in history. What happened on March
1972?
What happened in March 72 there?
Finally, the Ministry gets involved. Because officials from the Ministry of Defense visit the Doctor Who production office. Due to unfounded fears, the Navy secrets have been exposed in the Sea Devils episode 3, which is a great story in and of itself, but I just love the fact that somebody from the Ministry was involved.
A man from the Ministry literally comes by the BBC with his bowler hat on and says, "Now, just a second now. I understand that you've been exposing naval secrets in the Sea Devils, the latest televisual story on BBC One." And of course, it was just a random chance that they designed their prop submarine with a thing that was very close to reality when it comes to a secret submarine.
So British submarines look like cardboard and failed dreams too? Okay.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yep. Absolutely. I'm reminded of, for some reason, this is unconnected other than the fact that it's a submarine, that they used an actual model in shooting Cold War many, many years hence. Shot by Douglas McKinnon. It was an actual model of a submarine instead of just a CG one. And it shows. It looks great. And you know what? The model shots in Sea Devils weren't too bad either, especially with their top secret submarine that they had to make that with. But what else has happened? A lot of once again, 86 and 89 collide. I think this happened last week too. But Chris, what did you have in mind there?
Well, it was 1968. Paul Wheeler commissioned to write the first episode of The Dream Spinner.
Dream Spinner. That never went anywhere.
Paul Wheeler, who never wrote for Doctor Who otherwise, and the Dream Spinner, which went nowhere, but the plot of it involved a person with the power to make others believe their dreams are real. So kind of not a million miles away from Amy's Choice.
That too. Or in a way, the Mind Robber. I wonder if they were thinking, along those lines for some sort of dreamy, weird world. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Mind Robber.
I just keep thinking of this tune Dreamweaver when I see Dream Spinner. I can't get it out of my head now.
When the story was abandoned, it caused the invasion to get extended to make up for it.
Oh.
More Packer content, yeah.
More Packer, yes. The well laid out plans of season 6, the last 5 episodes stories. Well done. Everything gets extended because Derek Sherwin shoots everything down. This is crap. Well, we didn't have anything else, so guess what? You have to write this 4-part story into a 10-part story. Good luck.
But yeah, 86, 89. Go for it.
Yeah, 86. Pip and Jane Baker are commissioned to write The Trial of a Time Lord, Segment 3. So Terror of the Vervoids. They were commissioned to write. Somewhat short notice, I want to say, given that it's 1986, it's March 13th, and they're kind of starting to shoot this thing soon, aren't they? It's going to air like in October of that
Here's
year.
what we got. Filthy looking plants.
Yeah.
I mean, as we've talked about, I don't know how many times there were, 3 or 4 other abandoned stories for the 3rd segment. So
yeah,
I don't think they had any choice but to have it late in the game because everything else didn't pan out.
Yeah, given how quickly they wrote, I mean, they're commissioned to write it on March 13th. They probably finished it on March 13th too. Let's face it. I mean, they were just. This is why they got right. This is why they got work, folks. This is how you get work in the TV industry. You write scripts that are passable but quick. That's how you do it. And that's how they did it.
I laugh because it's true.
You know what? Like this, oftentimes, well, what do we get? We can get a 10-bell story from this writer who will be 3 months late on the deadline, or we can get something that we can at least shoot because we're going in front of cameras pretty quick, and they'll get it done in a day. And that's what Pip and Jane Baker did. Kudos to them. Writing Doctor Who is tough.
You just summed up the last 5 years of peak TV, followed by
pretty
what we
much.
have now.
That's true. Also in 1989, Sylvester McCoy is contracted for season 26 with an option for season 27. We all know what happened to that option. Wasn't picked up for anyone. So he could have done 4. Could have done 4 seasons at least of Doctor Who, but alas, was not to be. Moving on, March 14th, debut broadcast of Marco Polo, Episode 4, The Wall of Lies, the very first episode of Doctor Who that we have no visual comprehension of at all, because I always get this wrong, John Gorey or John Crockett, I can't remember which one directed Episode 4 of The Wall of Lies, directed this one episode. Waris Hussein directed all the other ones, but there were no telesnaps taken of it or at least there were no telesnaps kept. Waris Hussein has all the telesnaps of his, but not this one. Here, you want to know a really deep dive here when it comes to nerdery? When it comes to this?
Oh boy, do I.
Here we go.
Sure.
So, there's no physical proof, but one can pretty safely assume that up until the end of March, the episode 3 of Marco Polo, the end credits were left justified on the screen, scrolling up.
We're kidding.
By
this
the time,
is nerd diving.
Yeah. By the time episode 5 comes around, they're center, and they will remain that way for the rest of the show. So it's very likely to surmise that the one-off director of episode 4, John Crockett or John Gorey, I always forget who.
John
Crockett later went to do the Aztecs. John Crockett didn't know. It says, well, we'll just put the credits in the center, and that's how it happened. And so that's how everything was switched, because John Crockett wasn't aware of the house style of doing credits. That's my philosophy, and that's my idea as to what happened. There you go. Wasn't kidding, was I? When it comes to deep dive, justification of credit.
Classic Steven.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
1968, a photo call for Wendy Padbury as Zoe.
Which photo call was this? Is this the Wendy Padbury running around burning building photo call? Is this the Wendy Padbury getting her feet massaged by Peter Bryant photo call? Is that this one?
I think those are a private photo call for that second set.
Oh dear.
I don't know.
I remember seeing her name was Zoe, probably in Doctor Who Celebration, Zoe Harriet, and my headcanon immediately leapt to, she must be a descendant of James Harriet from All Creatures Great and Small, somehow.
They spelled it
that or Ainsley Harriet.
He's that cat from the cooking show, isn't he? What did he do?
Yeah. Chef guy. Celebrity chef guy.
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, the photo call is quite something. Burning building. She's literally running around in front of a building, burning building.
You got to keep things fresh. I mean, it's 5 years into the show, and
that's true.
Ideas are running thin.
That's true. The very next year, at that exact same day, Wendy Padbury is recording Space Pirates in BBC Television Centre. So, you bet you didn't expect this a year in, did you, Patters?
What, the Space Pirates?
Yeah,
nobody expected the Space Pirates.
Nobody expected the Space Pirates,
except Milo Clancy, of course.
Yeah,
he believed.
1973.
Yeah, what do you got?
April Walker contracted to play the new companion dubbed Smith for season 11.
Isn't that something? So April Walker, who appeared in the Wedding Guests episode of Fawlty Towers in '75, was cast as the new companion Smith. But they didn't actually screen test next to John Pertwee. So they paid her. They got her a whole year contract, and then they screen test with John Pertwee. And says she is far too tall and far too buxom for me, Doctor Who. She will take the eye off me. She will overshadow me. And so they had to recast her because it wouldn't work with John Pertwee. So they cast Elizabeth Sladen instead. April Walker was paid a whole year of Doctor Who to not be in Doctor Who.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mind you, so was Colin Baker. But
So was Colin Baker, but yeah. So,
we was robbed.
Yeah. I think this information only came out when they were researching the DVD production notes for the DVD for Invasion of the Dinosaurs when it came out. So that was relatively new information, I think, unless it was kicking around that people knew about, they just weren't talking about. But yeah, that was quite a revelation when everybody read the DVD production notes of the DVD. So there you go. What a deep dive. Wow, we're having fun today. Left Justified credits and companions.
It is recognized you have a funny sense of fun.
I do. Anything else jumping out at you for March 14th?
1978. The Pirate Planet is condemned by head of serials Graham McDonald, but Anthony Reid and director Pennant Roberts successfully argue there is no time to replace it.
I got two questions here.
All right.
Well, one question, more of a comment than a question.
Okay.
Naturally, yeah.
Condemned for what reason? And also, I just love that their argue is, we don't have any time. What do you want from us? That's my comment. But my question is, what was he condemning specifically?
I think he's probably thought this is too jokey and silly and everything, and this writer isn't going anywhere, so why are we casting this Douglas Adams? I don't know who this person is even. Can't we get something else? No. Douglas Adams. I love The Pirate Planet, but of course I love all of season 16, so, yeah.
2 years later, Peter Grimwade commissioned to provide a storyline for Time Flight.
Is it not...
You're a hobby horse, Chris.
Is it not shocking to think that within 2 years they're making The Pirate Planet and then Time Flight? Those feel like two entirely different shows. Entirely different. Shocking.
Chris, I think for you, Time Flight is for you as Starlust is for me. Something that you know is terrible, but you can't stop looking at it.
No, I can stop.
All right, fair enough.
I didn't think you had that much of a high opinion of Time Flight, Chris.
No.
You just talk about it a lot, so I figured you liked
it. I mean, the last time I watched it was for another podcast, which I mentioned previously on here, and I enjoyed it more than I had in the past, but that doesn't mean much, because...
True. It's a low bar to clear.
Yeah.
It's a very low bar to clear. Yeah.
Very low bar indeed. Also, that same day that Peter Grimwade was commissioned to provide a storyline for Time Flight, which was made, perhaps ill-advisedly, Keith Miles was commissioned to provide a storyline for something called Mark of Lumos.
Which apparently nothing is known.
No, it's just a guy called Mark from Lumos, which I think is in the north somewhere. I think it's near Derby. But
Lumos, the Harry Potter spell.
Is that what it is? I don't know my Harry Potter
right over my
spells.
head.
Yeah, I don't know my.
I don't care. So.
Don't know my
and then 1984, Paula Woolsey, quote unquote, is commissioned to write the second episode of Attack of the Cybermen.
The best episode of Attack of the Cybermen.
My God. Yeah.
I love it, but again, not good. But
Paula Woolsey. Eric Sayward's girlfriend at the time, I believe. Paula Woolsey. Yeah. Didn't write a single word of that. Goes out as Paula
stuck
Moore.
On Time Flight. I just try to imagine if late stage Tom Baker was in Time Flight, how much better it would be.
I mean, Peter Davison saves a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I don't know about that.
It would be better. It'd be more amusing, maybe.
I'm telling you, Captain Stapley and his flight crew are the best in Time Flight. They make it worth watching. Those three guys alone make Time Flight worth watching.
Big Finish, come on.
Well, one of them's dead. Richard.
That's not gonna stop Big Finish. Come on.
I know that's actually a very good point. And one of them became a sandbagger, and the other one was nude in a Doctor Who softcore porn called Zygon. So.
Also a sandbagger.
Yeah, and Captain Stapley appeared as a voice in Grand Theft Auto. So
really,
yeah,
which one?
GTA 5. He plays those. He's remember the two weird British tourists looking around. And,
right, yes.
He plays the male in there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. There's the history. There's how Time Flight is directly connected to GTA 5. All right.
Some side note nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like Time Flight, really.
No. March 15th. Happy birthday, Mom. My mom's birthday on the March 15th. Also the anniversary of Julius Caesar's death on the Ides of March.
The Ides.
Yeah, the Ides of March. So
no. Beware them, Dad. No.
No, I will not. I'll be fine.
Birth of Mervyn Haseman. Nothing to do with Julius Caesar.
Nothing at all. But he was the last living writer of the 1960s, Doctor Who, until he died relatively recently. So, not with several knife wounds in the back, I hasten to add, but he did die. Dennis Spooner receives permission to write The Time Meddler in March 15th, 1965. He being story editor at the time, you see, he needed a special dispensation to write for the own project. So there you go. That happened. Anything else jumping out at you there with regards to March 15th in Doctor Who history?
Wasn't aware of somebody called Pat Dunlop initiating the War Machines.
Yes. Writer. Yeah. Pat Dunlop, his daughter, Leslie Dunlop, appeared in Frontios and the Happiness Patrol.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go. All the deep dives. This is the stuff that you take in, folks, when you don't watch any other TV shows or movies, folks.
So if you're Steven.
If you're me, it's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling to know this stuff. It's so great.
It really isn't. But 1979 is a sterling example of what you just said.
All right, what's that?
David Fisher is unable to complete, necessary rewrites on the Gamble What Time, whatever that is. And so, between this date and March 19th, scripts are overhauled by Douglas Adams and Graham Williams as City of Death. The story will be credited using the pseudonym David Agnew. That is a soap opera in and of itself.
4 days. Douglas Adams and Graham Williams write one of the great Doctor Who stories of all time in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
No surprise there.
No surprise. No. Yeah, that I do want to point out, though, we're jumping around a little bit, just because Patrick Troughton is contracted for 24 episodes of Doctor Who, beginning with The Wheel in Space. This is keeping with the amusing thing to me that you would cast your star of a show on basically a week-to-week basis back then. It was amazing. A year later, the only currently existing episode of The Space Pirates, episode 2, aired on BBC One. It was played off of 35mm film, because it was shot on 35mm, because I think there was, I don't know, they didn't record it on videotape. And that's probably why it exists today. So that's good news. So there we go. Got my prerequisite Space Pirates in there like twice, I think, basically today.
Wow. You must be so proud. You probably are, actually.
I am actually, yeah. Anything else jumping out at you for March 15th? Do you want to talk about? Nope. You want to mention? If not, we can move on.
A lot of recording once again.
A lot of recording. March 16th, big day in history. I'm going to mention this just because Peter Davison regenerates at the end of The Caves of Androzani, episode 4, an episode I am watching tonight.
Nicely
as part
done.
of my, I know. March 8th and March 9th lined up with the anniversary of the original broadcast of Part 1 and Part 2, so that was kind of neat. And so, I'm watching, in my opinion, the greatest 25-minute episode of Doctor Who history, the Caves of Androzani, episode 4, so...
I can't argue with that.
No. Happy birthday, Tristan de Vercol and Donald Tosh, both born on the exact same day, March 16th, 1935. I don't think either of them are alive, but Donald Tosh.
Good names, though. Very good names.
I don't think Tristan de Vercol is either. But happy birthday, John Leeson, who provided the voice of K9. Slow down. Anything else? March 16th. You want to talk about? You want to mention that? Actually, I
know exactly what Chris is going to mention.
Go on. What's Chris going to mention then?
Well, yeah. What's Chris going to mention?
Yeah, what's he going to mention?
I thought you were going to say 1982.
Yeah,
because you cannot not comment on Adric dying.
I totally stepped on that. I guess I didn't realize that P. Davidson's Doctor and Adric die on the same day, 2 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then The King's Demons airs in 1983. So what a day in history for the Peter Davison era.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, Chris, but you do love to talk about Adric dying.
I do love to talk about him.
Well, he deserved to die.
This just marks that it was silent credits. Yeah, so yeah,
that's true.
No, he didn't deserve to die, but it was profound enough.
Oh, okay.
We had also on the same day, Timelash episode 2. Malcolm Cole commissioned to write the first episode of Delta and the Bannerman, Warren's favorite.
Yeah.
It's almost like this entire day is conspiring to undermine the Caves of Androzani episode 4.
And then March 16th, 2003, Jane Tranter, the BBC's controller of drama commissioning, gives an interview in which she indicates her interest in reviving Doctor Who. This might be one of the most consequential days in Doctor Who history, March 16th. Androzani, Earthshock, King's Demons, Timelash, Delta the Bannerman being commissioned, Doctor Who probably coming back, birthdays, Fury from the Deep broadcasting it up. Wow, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of stuff. March 16th, the day we should be celebrating each and every year.
David Brierley taking over the voice for K9 on the same day because Leeson didn't want to come back.
Yeah, it's like, it's my birthday, guys. I don't want to deal with this. Get somebody else.
Teenager that really bugged me. It's like, it's not right.
Me too. I know. Weirdly enough, I'm trying to think. David Brierley was around for all the recordings for Shada. And so he's in Shada, right? It's David Brierley in Shada and not John Leeson. But for the Paul McGann version, it is John Leeson as K9 again.
Yes,
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since I watched
Brierley still alive when
he was still alive, but I think they probably thought, let's get the original K9 back. I think people realize that he's probably the better one, so which he is. March 7th
in 2008. Okay.
2008. There we go. March 17th, happy St. Patrick's Day. And happy birthday, and sadly he's passed away now too, Ken Grieve, director of Destiny of the Daleks, the first use of Steadicam in Doctor Who. Ken Grieve is the cat who went when Doctor Who was shooting in Paris for City of Death, and Douglas Adams was jealous. He conned Ken Grieve into flying across the Atlantic overnight and partied and got drunk in Paris and then flew back later that in the early hours. So they spent all night going to get drunk in Paris. Ken Grieve and Douglas Adams. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. 1970s, baby. That's what you could do back then. Anything else on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, jumping out at you there?
Terry Nation commissioned to write the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
In 1964.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
His first return to the Daleks.
Yeah. And last, never to be seen again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terry Nation and the Daleks. John Leeson is contracted to provide the voice for a robot dog. Weird. And for K9 in The Invisible Enemy. So there. It is mooted. Perhaps that K9 might be retained as a regular character. This is 2 months before R2-D2 is seen on screen in Star Wars. So, a lot of people sort of lump K9 into like the, oh wow, look, all the sci-fi shows got cute robots to capitalize on R2-D2, but the decision was made well before Star Wars came out. So,
well, that's the power of Star Wars to obliterate all other memories.
That's true.
Yep,
that's true.
But alas, Muffet from Battlestar Galactica was the year after that.
Forever immortalized as one of Warren's many action dollies, thankfully.
Yep, I cannot believe it, but I do have that dog.
I got it to you. I got you it.
Yeah, I know you did. Thank you. I am eternally grateful.
Yep.
The only other Battlestar Galactica thing I've ever found is a bendable Starbuck, and it's not certain if it's a blonde Starbuck, so it could be the male Starbuck, could be the female Starbuck. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh. I know a lot of people were very fascinated by a bendable Starbuck at the end of episode 1 of the most recent season of The Mandalorian, but I'll say no further.
Bo-Katan can lean on a throne quite well. Let's just put it that way.
Well, in a giant empty palace.
She has a skill.
Wow.
I did see a great webcomic where somebody's like got her looking out the window going, "Oh hell, he's coming!" and she scrambles to look all loungy on the throne.
How can I look both interested and nonchalant at the same time?
Yeah, but actually, she's just looking out the window. She's so bored out of her tree because there's nothing going on.
Yeah. Last day of this version of the Timelash, March 18th. What happened? What happened March 18th? Anything of note that you want to talk about on March 18th?
1980, two storylines commissioned. Fairer No Hand by Andrew Stevenson and Mouth of Grath by Malcolm Edwards and Leroy Kettle.
Those
There's a whole bunch of names that
that's a lot of words.
Never actually stuck.
No.
Mouth of Grath sounds like an insult of some sort. So you'd say in Parliament to Boris Johnson. Yeah. Well, if it isn't the Mouth of Grath.
This is like, I feel like John Nathan Turner was just like, like with a Nerf gun, just firing out. Like, give me literally every single writer. Give me any ideas you want for Doctor Who. Like looking for new blood. Boy, there's a lot of. I
just like the image of John Nathan Turner with a Nerf gun. That's pretty great.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Which is season 32? Is it?
I don't know.
6.
Series 6, 2010. Piers Wenger announces that Doctor Who has been renewed for series 6.
Not season 32.
And that's however many weeks before the 11th hour goes out. Because that was April.
It was April, early April was that, yeah. So obviously they knew they had it. I'm curious because I haven't been noticing that much. Like when other series renewals in the modern series have been announced. I know famously, 2 or 3 days after Rose goes out, it gets renewed for another year. But like, is there even such an announcement? Like, oh, by the way, Doctor Who's coming back for another season of Jodie Whittaker. Like, I don't recall that ever actually being a thing. We just assume it now. We just, unless you tell us differently, Doctor Who is always going to be on. So there's no actual announcements. But maybe back then there was. Maybe back then they were thinking, David Tennant's left, Russell T Davies has left. Is this show going to really continue? And well, they thought, yeah, it's going to continue.
Well, you say we assume that. We also assume this show is internally doomed because we're old. So
that's true. But it never is. It's got stories for years, just like Russell T Davies said at the beginning of this podcast. And that there is closure to the Timelash. And indeed, this episode of Doctor Who.
Well, I was gonna bring up one more, but okay.
Okay.
What you got then? I already faded the music out, though.
Oh, well, it's gone. Okay.
What'd you want to say, Chris?
Oh, Space Time. Broadcast in 2011 as part of Red Nose Day.
Right.
Which I was going to use that for a callback.
Oh, perfect. Well, just imagine the music went on longer than. I haven't watched that in a while. That's with the two Amy Ponds. That's where. Yeah.
That's where Amy gets saucy with Amy.
That's true.
Why the hell? Why can you blame her?
Well, Stephen Moffat wrote that, right?
Well, there's that. Yes, that's a good point.
Yes, he did.
Just going through some stuff.
He did.
On that note, next week is part 1, coinciding with the release of the season 9 John Pertwee box set. Part 1 of our Lenny Mayne miniscope, not in chronological order. We're doing the 2 Peladon stories because they're virtually identical. Monster of Peladon and Curse of Peladon, which of course the latter is coming out on that box set. So there we go. Tie-in material. We totally planned it that way. We did not plan it that way. We recorded this a few weeks ago. But so that's coming out next week. So Chris, even though you're in the UK, your thoughts on Peladon will be widely heard.
As they should be?
Yes, they should be.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely, they should be. So look forward to that, folks. All right, and maybe 3 or 4 more Radio Times articles about that same Chris Chibnall interview that we did in episode 895. Until next time, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.